In this video, we got another episode of the series where I rate and improve your guys' teams. You guys will send me your teams on Twitter at X7Snack, and I'll give you guys my best suggestions to help improve your team. And my rating 1 through 10 could be a 6, a 7, a 8, a 9, or a 10, whatever I do think about your squad. If you guys also want to let me know your team and MT amount in the YouTube comment section down below, let me know what team you guys are rocking, and let me know how much MT you guys have, and I'll give you guys my best suggestions to help improve your team. But looking at the first squad here, coming in from BCF, he's got 150,000 MT, and he mainly room runs, so he likes to have those guards that are able to get to the basket. I would say this team is pretty decent. I mean, the starting lineup is very, very good with obviously Pippen, Ben Simmons, Tatum, Carmelo, JaVale McGee. Really good starting lineup. The bench, though, is a little bit questionable. I would say with 150,000 MT, you could definitely make some upgrades. Overall, though, rating, I'd probably give an 8.5 out of 10. Starting lineup is probably like a 9, 9.5. Bench is probably like an 8 or 8.5. So I think 8.5 or 9 is probably a pretty fair rating. The bench, though, for me, I would just get a better backup 4. I think Kukoc is okay, but a guy like Amari Stoudemire is going to do so much more for you than a guy like Kukoc. And then for the backup 5, I mean, honestly, you could just get 2 really good centers like D-Rob and Marc Gasol. I mean, that might cost you a little bit, like that would probably be all your MT, but if you wanted to spend like 150,000, I would get, Marc Gasol definitely to play over JaVale McGee, and then have McGee off the bench. If you want to do that and only spend about 50,000 MT between the two cards, I would get Amari Stoudemire and Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol can start next to a guy like Carmelo, and then you could have Amari Stoudemire off the bench next to a guy like JaVale McGee. And then the only other position I would maybe try to upgrade is your backup 2. I think even a guy like Luol Deng is probably a little bit better than Quentin Richardson, and Luol is only about, I think, 20,000 MT, maybe even a little bit cheaper nowadays, so he'd be a great 6'9" shooting guard to go next to that shorter guard in Donovan Mitchell. But those would be my suggestions to help improve your team, but all around going to be a very decent team. Now next squad here coming in from Joshua, he's got about 100,000 MT, and he's got a very solid squad. I would say maybe a little bit better, well-rounded than the last team we looked at. I would say probably like a 9 out of 10. For me, you just really need to upgrade your starting center position. And with 100,000 MT, I think the only real, change you need to make is just get D-Rob over Hakeem Olajuwon. If you do that, I think your team's pretty much good because your power forwards are really nice, your small forwards are good, your shooting guards are good, and then your point guards are obviously some of the best point guards in the game. So for me, all this team needs is that starting center position, and D-Rob would be probably the best option because I think he's the second best center in the game. Obviously, number 1 is Yao Ming, and that's going to be way too much for only 100,000. So I think D-Rob is the perfect center for this squad and pretty much just rounds off your team. If you also want to sell Hakeem, you can pretty much get all that MT back and just go spend it on D-Rob, and then you could maybe move Hakeem or someone else to the bench. Honestly, what you could do is you could just not play Chet and then just get Marc Gasol for the backup 5, because I'm not sure how much I like Chet at the center position. I think he might just be a little bit too undersized, like with his player build. He's just a little bit too skinny, so you can maybe do that as well, getting Marc Gasol for your backup center, but definitely get D-Rob to start next to a guy like KG. But overall, a very good looking squad. Now next team here coming in from BM4, he's got 450,000 MT and another very solid squad. I would say it's a little bit worse than the last one we just looked at. I would say maybe like an 8.5 out of 10. I mean, maybe like an 8 because I'm not really the biggest fan of Kobe's solid. And yeah, I'd say 8.5 because all these players are really solid. I would give it 8.5 out of 10. If you have 500,000 MT or 450k, you can definitely make some big upgrades, and the first one would definitely be at the point guard spot. I think you could realistically upgrade both of your point guards. I think Magic Johnson is a lot better than a guy like Shea, even his pink diamond. I'm not saying to go get his opal, but his pink diamond is still super elite. And then if you wanted to get a guy like Don Ole or a guy like pink diamond Penny Hardaway off the bench, I think those could be your 2 point guards for this price tag. I think Terry Dischinger also needs to be in this team because he's a lot better than Kobe Bryant, and Terry's only about 90,000 MT. I think you could also upgrade that backup center, getting D-Rob for the starting center position, and then moving Marc Gasol to the bench. So that's what I do. Go D-Rob and Gasol as your 2 centers. Go Bob Nedelecki and Carmelo as your 2 power forwards. LeBron and Joe Smith as your small forwards. Then I would go Pippen and Terry Dischinger as your shooting guards. And then for your point guards, I would go Magic Johnson as pink diamond version and pink diamond Penny Hardaway. But overall, a pretty good looking squad. If you do make those suggestions, I'd say that's probably like a 9, maybe even 9.5 out of 10 team. Next squad here coming in from Uptime. He's around 400,000 MT, not looking to spend too much. You need someone to run the offense with off the bench, and you finna get KG in the next couple days. He's replacing Dirk, or yeah, he's not sure yet. Okay, so he wants a better offensive point guard, I guess, off the bench, or just somebody to run the offense with. I mean, what you could do, honestly, I'm saying move Terry Dischinger to the starting lineup, and I would replace Kobe Bryant. If you want a guy that can carry your offense, You know, this might seem a little bit crazy, but I think you honestly get LeBron over Joe Smith. You start him next to a guy like, you know, Terry Dishinger, and then you bring Tim Thomas off the bench. Unless you really like Tim Thomas, I think if you want somebody that can run the offense off the bench and you're really struggling with the, you know, offense, the perfect guy is Tim Thomas. Now, if you don't want to move Tim Thomas down, what I would do is probably get rid of Kobe Bryant for this starting shooting guard spot. I would look at some, you know, just well-rounded shooting guards. If you don't want to spend that much, you can't really afford to, but anybody too crazy, I think even a Luol Deng or Iguodala is a lot better than a guy like Kobe Bryant. If you wanted to maybe get a better backup point guard as well, I think there is a couple point guards you could go with. I mean, Don Ole could probably just solve your problems right away. What I would most likely do is move Terry Dishinger to the starting 2, get rid of Kobe Bryant, replace him with, let's just say, for example, Luol Deng, and then for your backup point guard, get Don Ole. He's only about 50,000 MT, so your bench could look something like Don Ole, you know, Don Ole, Luol Deng, Joe Smith, Dirk Nowitzki, and then for your backup center, I would get Marc Gasol. And if you were to do that, I think your bench becomes a lot better, and you definitely have some more offensive guys that you can run the offense through. And the next team here coming in from Gunshy, I read that absolutely wrong. He's got about 1 million MT and already a very good squad. Like, this is one of the better teams in my team right now. I'd say for rating out of 10, probably like a 9.5. I definitely think with 1 million MT though, there is some upgrades you can make. In my opinion, this is actually like maybe the best starting 5 in the game. What I would do is, honestly, you could potentially upgrade the Magic to his Opal, but the first thing I would do is either get Vince Carter. I'd probably get Vince Carter for the backup 2 over Dr. J, unless yours is badged out a lot, because I do think Vince is a decent amount better than Dr. J. And then for your backup 4, I would definitely get a guy like Dirk, or just play Yee over Chet. I'm not really the biggest fan of Chet anymore. And then for your backup 5, I do think D-Rob is maybe a little bit better than Olowokandi, but if you like the Olowokandi guy more than D-Rob, he can obviously play your backup 5. So if you just want to upgrade Magic to his Opal version, and then maybe start him over at Ben Simmons, I think that could work as well. And then maybe just get a better 4 like a Dirk Nowitzki, or just play Yee over Chet. Other than that though, I think this is one of the best teams in the game. Pretty much don't need too many suggestions. If you just want to straight up, you know, upgrade Magic Johnson to his Galaxy Opal version, I think that's all you really have to do for this for that team. Next squad here coming in from Matt. He's planning on getting Tim Thomas, and his MT budget is 200,000 MT, and he could always sell players. So 200,000 MT to work with, and a very decent team. The bench, I gotta figure out who's actually on the bench and who goes where, but the starting lineup is pretty elite. I personally don't like using Shaq, but if you like using Shaq and you're good with him and you're good with inside bigs, and you can definitely keep running him. But for me, I would try to get a guy like David Robinson or Marc Gasol for the rating out of 10. I mean, once again, kind of hard. Or you already have Marc Gasol. It's kind of hard to see the bench. I would say like probably like a 9. I would say like a 9, maybe 9.5 out of 10. Your bench is probably what, like Marc Gasol, not Marc Gasol, John Moran at the point guard spot, J.R. Smith at shooting guard. Your small forward is Paul George, I believe. Your power forward is Bob Nedelecki or Chet, and then your center is Marc Gasol. So it's a little bit weird to kind of follow the bench. For me though, I'd pretty much replace everybody on your bench. So for your starting lineup, I'd personally get D-Rob to play next to a guy like Dirk Nowitzki, and then I would sell Shaq. Once again, if you're really good with him and you like using him, then you can obviously keep him. But in my opinion, I would go D-Rob. And then for the bench, backup point guard, I would get Pink Diamond Magic. He's about below 100,000 MT. For your backup shooting guard spot, I'd probably go with Kazi Russell. Really good offensive shooting guard, and is really good next to a guy like Magic. So that could be your backcourt. And then for your small forward spot, I would just go AK-47 for that defense. And then your power forward and your center is really good, obviously with Bob Nedelecki and Pau Gasol. So your bench would probably be something like, Magic Johnson, Kazi Russell. You could also do the flip side of that and go Don Ole and Terry Dishinger if you wanted to, but I'd probably go Pink Diamond Magic and Opal Kazi Russell. Small forward, go AK-47 or LeBron. Power forward, go Bob Nedelecki, and then backup center, go Pau Gasol. You can obviously sell some players like Chet if he's not going to be in the team, or J.R. Smith as well to accumulate some more MT. But overall, a pretty good squad. I'm not sure if I ranked it. I think I did. I think I'd probably give it like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10, maybe a 9.5 at most. And then the final team here coming in from the 100, he's got 500,000 MT, and he thought of either replacing Braun or AK, but I'm not sure who I'd replace one of them with. So the only guy you can really replace him with is honestly Tim Thomas, because those are probably the next 2 best small forwards, because you already got Scottie Pippen on your team. So for me, honestly, with this squad, I think you just get yourself a Dirk Nowitzki over Chet. I think Dirk is definitely a decent amount better than a guy like Chet, so that's definitely an upgrade you can make. So I would just get Dirk over Chet, and then honestly, you could just upgrade Terry Dishinger to a guy like Vince Carter, and I think your team is pretty much good to go. So for me, I would just get Dirk over Chet and then give Vince Carter over Terry Dishinger, because I think Vince is definitely a little bit better than a guy like Terry. But guys, let me know in the comment section down below. Like I said at the start of the video, let me know your team in the comment section down below and how much MT you guys are using, so I can actually give you guys suggestions. A lot of you guys comment down your teams, but forget to let me know how much MT you have, and I can't really give any suggestions because I have no idea if you have 10,000 MT, if you have 100,000, a million, 500,000. Really hard to judge if I don't know how much MT you guys have. So let me know in the comment section down below how much MT you guys have right now, and obviously your squad as well. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.